Hi everyone, I'm Alana Light. I and for those of you that don't know me, suffered from serious anxiety and depression for my whole life. But I didn't know that until I finally got diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was 40, and it led me to learn to meditate because I decided that I was going to reject the medication, and in doing so, it healed my body. It lowered my pressure. But another thing happened, which I did not expect to have happen, was that it opened up inner knowledge and inner wisdom that has been living inside of me also for my entire life that I wasn't aware of. And I started tapping into my intuition. I started tapping into information that I guess comes from nowhere. And in the end, I realized that it comes from my channeled self. It comes from my higher being. It comes from, you can call it God consciousness, Christ consciousness. You can call it the universe, but it flows within all of us. It flows through all of us. And when we let go of all of the blocks that are inside of us, all of the heaviness that's inside of us, we make room for our bodies and our minds to open up, to become a conduit, to become a vessel of the light, which is the thing that allows us to heal our bodies. That is the thing that allows us to live with a great sense of peace, a great sense of joy that emanates from deep within us. So we start to realize that we don't need as much stuff on the outside. We stop taking personal everything that's happening all around us because we take back our power, and we recognize that we are creating the reality that is alive in front of us. It's a reflection back to us based upon what it is that we feel about ourselves. So when we feel this way about ourselves, we're anchored in a degree of truth. We're anchored in a degree of wholeness. And what's reflected back to us is a world that is full of truth and a world that is full of wholeness. Now, for those of you that don't believe me, they're saying, oh my God, this world's a mess. That's because we're going at it ourselves, feeling as though we're all a mess. And that's then what's reflected back to us. And trust me, I know exactly what it's like to be a mess. I've struggled with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, addiction to self-care, to numbing out with too much meditation and too much breathing. I've struggled with addiction to work, addicted to being perfect. And it was only in letting go of all of that that I was finally able to actually hear myself. And when I say myself, I mean my true self, which came in through all of the cracks of imperfectionism, which came in through allowing myself to finally feel the pain of my emotions that wanted to be heard, that wanted to express themselves. Because on the other side of allowing your emotion to express itself is your freedom, where we don't have to identify with these heavy emotions anymore. We can see them as nothing more than patterns that keep showing up in our lives that allow us to then choose a different way of being once we've processed why they keep showing up over and over again. And so I'm making this video because what's been happening for me in meditation lately, for the past really few months, and it doesn't happen in every meditation, but it happens fairly often enough where I find myself like floating above the earth. Um, I know this sounds crazy, but there I am. I'm floating close to the sun. And for a long time, I just had this realization, okay, I'm floating above the earth. This is amazing. It feels really free. And then I realized, okay, while I'm up there, I might as well send the energy of love to everyone down to earth, right? Like let's just do that, right? And I look around and I see that there are other beings that are doing that. And I remember one time in meditation, there was a voice that said, you know, you can look at the other beings, you can say hi to them. So I was like, all right. So I start to like look at the other beings and realize like they're all doing the same thing. And those are the light workers, right? We're all kind of just like circling around the entire earth. So if you're a light worker and you're listening to this, it's because you've been drawn to this video to understand what your role is. So in sending that love down to earth and feeling yourself like all the way up in the ether, whether or not this has happened to you as a light work, it doesn't really matter. But I can tell you that for the most part, that's probably where your higher being is right now. It dawned on me last night in meditation that when I am up there doing that, that is me as my higher self, as my higher being. And that even though it feels like it's still me who's down here, like at the same time, the realization there is that it's my higher self that's down in here now. And that I've made the connection between the two, which is something that we can wake up in all of us, which is why I'm making this video. And that when we're doing that, what we're doing is the goal here is not ascending up and out and getting the hell out of here, right? The goal is to actually descend that higher being, that higher self, along with all of that healing energy that it's able to conduct from the entire universe. And the messaging I get is that it comes from the central sun, which is not our normal sun, but it's another sun in a far off other galaxy, which powers everything. And that it's that healing energy that's meant to be coming through our bodies, our higher beings, and then channeled down into us here to be able to receive it. And if that 3D version of ourselves is full of blocks, we're not going to be able to receive it coming from our higher being. So that is why the work of being able to look at what it is that no longer serves you, being able to say, wow, okay, that's an emotion that I can now name. I can let myself feel it. I can actually now have distance from it and not have to identify with the fact that that emotion owns me anymore. And I can thank it for the lesson it gave me. Because what that'll do is that will let go of the heaviness that's in your body, right? It's that heaviness that causes high blood pressure, right? It's that heaviness that causes us to like, we don't like that feeling, so we numb out, so we eat a lot. It's that heaviness that makes us want to like buy more stuff, right? Because we're like, oh, when we buy stuff, we feel better. You know, makes us like want to keep on doing jobs that we can't stand because we're wanting to like just solve for everything on the outside. But in actuality, letting go of the heaviness on the inside allows us to receive all of that light that's already available to us. So I had this realization that, wow, my higher self and my 3D human self here, boots on the ground self, is already one. Right? There's no difference between the two anymore. It's already one. And when I had that realization, and it was just so powerful. I became one with the messaging that was flowing then through me. I guess probably all the time, like always available, but I never really let myself slow down enough to be able to tap into that. So that's really the purpose of this video. And I know that was a really long open, but I'm new at making these kinds of videos, so please bear with me. I'm gonna read to you what flowed out of me. I have not read it myself. It just came out, and I'm gonna share it with you now, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is my channeled transmission number one. I am my higher being in the sky among other light bodies, sending love down to earth and its people into the 3D version of myself. My purpose is to become clear, to dissolve all 3D blocks, so that I may receive healing energy from the central sun and conduct it through my body, channeling it into the core of our earth for collective healing. From there, Earth herself vibrates the energy upward, using her strengthened power to heal all people who are meant to receive it. Another part of my mission is to teach others how to do this for themselves, and we can, so we can all remember her truth, heal our bodies, and reconnect to the vibration of unity and the vibration of love. When we do this, we awaken to the one thing we've always longed to do, but we have feared that we would fail at it or could not survive doing it. It's the thing that we love most. It's the thing that we are born to offer. See, it's important that we realize that we know that we have always had enough. We are enough. But we are told that we are not. That lie is the lie that keeps us fighting with each other. It keeps us desperate. It keeps us from noticing the total abundance that is already alive inside each and every one of us. Together, we can grow food, our own food that heals us. We can eat together. We can organize and build the systems that we need, the systems that we see that are crumbling. We can make them local. We can make them serve us, our interdependent needs. We can have systems of health that are rooted in Earth's natural medicine, that's designed to keep us vibrant, living and enjoying our lives into the hundreds. We can live so much longer than what we've been told. That future is not a fantasy. That future is a choice. And that's a choice that I invite all of you right now that are watching to make. We must start saying no. No to governments that are asking us to kill. I don't know one person that enjoys killing. I don't know one time a war ever created joy and harmony that people were happier after. We can no longer build our cultures, our world, our society off of death, hatred, and greed. We have done that already for centuries. And all it's gotten us is more fighting. That is why it needs to end. That is why it needs to stop, because it doesn't work. And I think we all know this. I think deep down, we all know this. Every single person that I ever talk to about this never stands up and goes, no, you know what? I really want to keep fighting some more. We all want a way to peace. We've all just been told that the only way to get it is through death. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense at all. We have to start saying no to the foods that are making us sick. Stop paying for foods that are making us sick. And we know that that's happening to us, yet we still keep doing it anyway. We have to start realizing that we don't even need as much food as we all think, that we're all eating like because of what I said before, because we just want to numb out from this world. When in actuality, we have to stop paying to ingest chemicals. We have to stop paying to ingest things that are processed, that aren't at all like the natural versions of the fruits and vegetables, which we don't even know what they look like or taste like, that we can have our own access to. My husband and I started growing fruits, vegetables in our living room, indoor hydroponic garden. We started with a small one, now a big one. There are CSAs that we can join, community, I forget what the S stands for. I want to say Community Service Association, but that's not it. They're farms, farm shares, Community Share Association. See how I'm embracing my imperfectionism. So we are able to have access to locally grown fruits and vegetables that are pesticide free from all of the farms that are all around us. And we can all pay into that, and it's much less money than the supermarket if we don't have a green thumb enough to be able to create our own greenhouses or hydroponic farms. I mean, I cannot understand why we spend so much money and time landscaping to beautify the outsides of our homes when we're then going to the supermarket paying a premium for fruits and vegetables that are not beautifying our insides at all, when really we can do a quarter of the work on our outsides and actually just instead turn our lawns into farms, right? We can actually stop depending on the supermarket. We can start to slow down and create and make whole foods. And then you start to see when you eat that way, when you actually eat something that has just been picked, the nutrient level is through the roof. Every single day that something is living on a shelf, the nutrients deplete by something like 20%. By the time it has gotten to your plate, it is void of anything that it can ever be to be able to help you from what it once originally was. Not to mention the fact that it's also sprayed down with pesticides. So these are the things that we need to start be able to take back. We have to start saying no to stress. We have to start saying no to survivalism, to doing jobs that we took on just because we think we need to maintain these lives that are going to make us happy, when in actuality, all they're doing is making us sick. We have to say no to acquiring things in order to feel whole, when in actuality, the wholeness is already alive inside of us. Wholeness comes from doing what you love, which most of us, if I ever ask someone, what do you love to do aside from drinking? They say, I don't know, I don't remember. I'll invite all of you to close your eyes and take yourself back to a time when you were a kid, when you were probably then doing the thing that you love. I know for myself, the thing that I loved most was writing. And I put that away for my entire life up until literally this year. And I'm now 47 because I was too practical. I thought that that wasn't going to be the thing that was going to make me the most amount of money possible. And I said yes for many decades to sales jobs, marketing jobs, roles that I knew deep down were not the thing that I really wanted to do. But I said yes to it because, oh, that's the quickest way to make a buck. We've all done that in my generation. We have all said yes when really we meant no just for the money, thinking that that would be the thing that would make us happy. Cut to when I turned 40 and had all the things that everyone said that was going to make me happy. The money, the cars, the vacations, the golden doodles, all the things. And in actuality, I was sicker than ever, totally burnt out and exhausted, not at all present for my children, not connected with them at all. Spent a lot of time numbing out with alcohol still. So if you actually took a moment to think about what it is that you love, and then actually became brave enough to do it, brave enough to allow yourself to feel what it's like to flow that creativity out through you, that is such a feeling of wholeness that no thing on the outside could ever equal. And then when you're living in that energy of creating just because it feels so good, nothing matters. You don't care if anyone called you back. You don't care what plans you have. You don't care what kind of money you make, because you are just having such a good goddamn time creating. And you know what happens then? That is the key to manifestation. And that is what the powers that be do not want us to know, that when we are living in that state of joy, creating just for the sake of creating, because that is our God-given birthright that we're meant to do to begin with, saying yes to the things that actually feel good, we are then in the energy of manifestation. That is when all abundance flows to you. All the right people show up, all the right circumstances show up, so that you can keep creating this way, because you're now an energetic match to being able to live in the vibration of what it is that you want to create before any of it has manifested. That is how you become a manifester, by living in the energy, in the emotion, in the feeling of what it is that you want to create ahead of seeing the manifestation before you. Because the moment you start doing that, you actually become your manifestation. You become your greatest potential ahead of the outcomes, ahead of the outside, ahead of anyone giving you permission to do it, ahead of someone else saying, yes, yes, I think that this certification would let you do that. Because the more you tap into that creative flow that's already alive inside of you, the more you then become your very own conduit of all of the energy and all of the information that you would ever need to be able to create all of the things that you love. You get to access the infinite data set of information that is floating around in the quantum field that makes up the very fabric of our universe. That gives you so much more information than any certification could ever do. And that's what's starting to go away. Our need for memorizing facts, shooting them back in school and saying, yes, now I can get a degree. That's why we have AI now. AI actually takes away the heavy lifting of us having to do this busy work, this memorization of things, so that we have more time to tap into our higher selves, our higher consciousness, to be able to access that which AI can never access, which is all of the universe, which is the infinite data set of information that is your intuition that comes in through your heart center. When you open yourself up to it, to that higher consciousness, AI can never have access to higher consciousness, but we can. And that's the point of this time. That is the point of AI, to free us up enough to be able to receive down into our bodies from our higher selves that which we have always been. A remembrance of getting back to who we actually are, getting cool, innovative ideas, creative information, whether it be a hole in the market that we spotted for creating a product that just came through to us, or whether it be an idea for a book that we want to write that can only come from us, some cool, innovative way of creating sustainability. That is what AI needs from us. It relies on us for these really cool, innovative ideas, for us to know what we love to do, and then coexist with AI in order to execute it into this world, to crystallize it into the field, to be able to create the kind of world that we've always wanted to live in. That is what AI could never do, and needs us to help them with, so that together we become the change that we've always wanted to see. We have to start saying yes to doing what we love. Yes to becoming who we truly are. Yes to remembering what it means to be human. Humans innately are made of joy, are made of love. That is who you were before you came here. And that is who you will be when you leave. Now we're waiting for things on the outside to tell us that we are allowed to feel that sense of joy, when in actuality, it's been with us all the time. Whenever you're feeling joy, love, unity, you know that is what feels right inside of you. That is what is eternal about you. That is the part of you that you are meant to bring here into this life, into this world. Anytime something doesn't go with that feeling, that is not your truth. Fear is not your truth. Hatred is not your truth. Killing is not your truth. Anger is not your truth. That means if you turn on the news and you see something that makes you feel any of those things, you need to start actually questioning what it is that you are watching. because you need to know that you are being fed something only to keep you in that low vibrational way of being. You're being fed information to keep you angry. You are being fed information to keep you in a state of rage. You're being fed information to keep you heads down, distracted, keeping you away from everything I just told you before. Your ability to tap into your truth, your ability to be healthy on your own, your ability to create joy without acquisition, your ability to create unity. And that is the most important piece of this, because we have all come from the same place and we're all going back to the same place. And we have been told that we are not enough. We've been told that we don't have enough. We have been told that in order to feel that sense of joy, that wholeness, that love, to actually enjoy being here on earth, that we have to kill for it, that we have to live on a certain piece of land for it. When in actuality, you can tap into that right now. It's already in you. The powers that be, the top 1%, just want you to think that it's not. And this is the shift that we all need to make, because no person feels better after they've murdered. There is no one side. There is only the human side. The person on the other side of the world that you have been trained to hate, that you believe is your enemy, was born just like you, a human baby, full of love, full of joy, full of wanting to create whatever it is that they love most, until they were told to put it away, until they were told that you can't feel those feelings until you murder for it. If we all start to remember who we are, we can have a great sense of compassion for one another, in knowing that we're all just receiving training from a really old program that doesn't work anymore. When we all say no, when we all on an individual level start to question the news, start to question why we're really fighting, when we all have the ability to feel joy already on the inside, when we all start to put down our guns, we become stronger collectively. The few who try to keep us down, divided and distracted, those are the ones that then lose. Our numbers are way bigger than theirs, but they want us heads down. They want us distracted. They want us in that low vibrational way of being. And the reason why they want us that way is because that's what allows them to live really comfortably. So I think you're going to be shocked to find that a lot of the leaders at the very tip top 1% are actually more well connected than you would ever believe with each other. We're going to start to find out a lot of truths. We're going to start to find out that we are actually just pawns. We're just being used like cows, our energy being siphoned out so that they can stay comfortable. We need to all say no and put down our guns on all sides so that we can remember the human side. We are God consciousness. A spark of the divine lives in each of us. It is our birthright to know this. It is our birthright to expand on it. We are here to rise, to become empowered, to reclaim our health, our unity, our joy in simply being. Killing is not the human part of us. Hatred makes us sick and dependent on the pharmaceutical companies and on this failing healthcare system, that when I went and had high blood pressure, no one said, oh, you could just do some breathing and meditation and it would lower it. No, they threw pills at me. And eventually over time, I would need a different kind of pill because of the side effects from the original pill, instead of it turning on the pharmacy that already lives inside of us. That's the kind of information that we have to start talking about. Scarcity, when we think we do not have enough, it makes us forget. We have enough food in the world. We have enough water in the world. We have enough land to live on, more than enough. We have to stop believing the lie that we do not have enough. When we break down those barriers and we put people in the room that are from other sides, they start laughing with each other. They start relating with one another. They start telling jokes with one another. Why do we still have allegiance to people that are telling us to do things that are inhumane? But we are remembering now. And when we do, we begin to co-create a new world, a new reality, because we are already at all times manifesting our reality. Why not do it with a completely different energy and see how the world shifts around you? I'll invite you to do that as an experiment. Go outside, and instead of hating your entire life and all the people that are around you and the fact that you're still living in this place and that this is the worst job ever, instead, can you give yourself grace for being like, I know I've showed up shitty a lot, but this is me doing my best. And I feel like everyone here is really just trying to do their best. What if I not only gave myself grace, but I gave everyone around me grace too? What if instead I went around smiling at people, even if it was just one person, just starting with myself in the mirror? What could that simple change do? What kind of shift could that create if we all did that collectively at once? I can tell you right now that this is the time for us to take ownership, because the leaders at the top are not going to be the ones that are going to give us the world that we want. It needs to come from the bottom up. Communities need to come together. We need to create a new education system that is teaching our children to tap into their creativity, their imagination, their higher selves, their higher consciousness, to be able to all have a job when you align with AI, to put into the space all the things that you've ever wanted to make without money and overhead, because AI can be your 25-person corporate team. That's what we need to start teaching everyone. We need to start teaching everyone how to do breathing exercises, how to easily meditate, how you can actually remove all inflammation from your body and even reverse age by accessing that internal pharmacy that lives inside of you. We need to start remembering how to do what we love and be brave enough to allow ourselves to do it, so that we can be less reliant on buying things on the outside to give us the identity that we think we need. You see, you're watching already the cracking and the crumbling of the corporate world, of the school system, of this consumeristic, life, the healthcare system, the food system. It's all breaking down. And that's why everyone's freaking out, because everyone's like, oh my God, what do we do next? What we do next is we create the one that we want. That's why we're here. This is the time for that. And that's why this is the most exciting time. And that's why I am reading what is coming through to me in this way, because I know it doesn't matter anymore how I say it. It only just matters that I say it, because everyone else out there has something to say too. Let's wake up that part inside of us that has no fear, that is ready to love, that is ready to unite, that's finally ready to have a good time here. on this earth, bringing heaven down to earth. When we bring our higher beings that we are down into this Eden, it's like our souls are just like living in this playground that we were meant to always enjoy until we forgot. Let's stop feeding the top 1%. Let's stop being used like batteries. Let's return to the Eden that this is. Let's make ourselves sovereign beings who are powerful enough to stand in our power, regardless of what kind of programming they try to filter into us through the news, or try to tell us that we need to be this shape and this size with 0 wrinkles when we're already perfect as we are. Let's use our energy to align with our higher selves, with our souls, so that we can recognize souls not just inside of us, so we can actually see every single person in front of us, especially our enemies that we are trained to hate, as souls too. Because if enough of us shift into this kind of vibration, I can tell you that the enemies on the other side will feel that sense of love. It'll fire that sense of joy that lives inside of them. That'll remind them of feeling something that's inside of them that maybe they haven't felt for a really long time, that they might want to make bigger. And then that might be the reason why they finally say no when they're being told to kill, because that is already inside of them, what they're being told they need to fight for. So I'll leave you with this. What small change can you make today to be able to shift a brighter tomorrow into your present moment? Much love to all of you.